These are shots of our living room.
Mr. Bitcharabies is a peeping Tom.
What would you do if you found a machine that took photographs of yourself in the future so you knew the future? Yes, that is the premise in the movie called Time Lapse.
It's a good premise.
It's a good premise, a confusing premise, because then now the people finding the photographs need to go back and then change the future by already knowing the future. That really doesn't connect with me.
Well,
it didn't connect with me in this movie.
Yeah, and I feel like the whole effect here, because anything that gives you a tip-off of what's to come is kind of an interesting story device, you know, and it can lead to cool things. The Early Edition was a TV show that Kyle Chandler starred in for a long time, and that was the whole premise. He got tomorrow's paper today. And I like that idea, but a photograph, which is what we're presented with in the story of this movie, it just doesn't really reveal enough, particularly a locked-off photograph from the same position. So this is a weird, trippy sci-fi idea with the lowest budget imaginable, because it takes place in an apartment complex, basically in a couple of rooms.
Think you got enough film?
It's a locked-off Polaroid camera taking pictures of the apartment across the way, which 3 roommates live in. A woman played by Danielle Pennebecker and her 2 male roommates, an artist and a gambler.
And a gambler who takes pills often. Now,
Which sounds kind of like a Saturday Night Live skit now that I think of it.
Right, so this is, first of all, she's dating one of the guys. She's dating the painter, okay, Finn. And so Jasper is the other guy living there, and they're all seemingly friends, but there are some secrets there, as usually there are with 3 friends that live together. And the camera has captured these things. So what they need to do now, what they try to do, because they don't want to alter too much, because they feel like if they alter too much, they're going to die.
Yeah, because they found the inventor, or they find the inventor of this camera in a grotesque state. And so that kind of is the setup and the premise. And then basically what we see, as we see in any of these morality tales that evoke looking into the future or having the effect of change, we saw this with Project Almanac not too long ago. The idea is they go crazy, they unravel, because they can kind of understand some of the secrets of time. Now, one of the core issues that I have with this movie, apart from this crazy science that doesn't make any sense and nobody tries to figure out how the hell this camera can work, they just sort of adapt it and say, well, we can get rich. But I don't really understand how they worked out the mechanics to get rich.
Exactly.
It feels like, because the gambler, of course, that's the first thing he thinks about. I'm going to put up all the ponies that are going to win. But how does he, can you explain to me, how does he know that the ponies that are going to win from the past, and then he's going to get the, it's like, and then they have to set up in the same frame that they get from the picture.
At the same
how
time,
does that help them?
Every day. This is what I'm saying. This movie is a mind F, but not in the best way.
No.
You want to sit there and you want to enjoy a movie and you want to think about it, but I wasn't thinking while I was watching this movie. I
still don't know. I've watched the movie. I still don't know how they got rich and how they thought that they could work the system, because the camera's not taking pictures of the horses and the dogs.
No, but even if they did figure that out, why are they just doing it on horse races? Why aren't they winning the actual lottery?
The looking into the future, that crystal ball kind of thing, always hooks us. So, but you got to be nicer than that, movie makers. Come on, give us a real thing to sink our teeth into.
Yeah, make us a movie. Don't make us a terrible, low-budget, Outer Limits episode.
What are you giving Time Lapse?
God, it's getting a 4.
Yeah, it gets a 4 for me, too.
EP's movie coverage is brought to you by Nintendo. Check out Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the new 3DS.